Let me ask you something. Are you unknowingly eating foods that are quietly damaging your heart? You might think you're making healthy choices, but some of the foods you eat every day could be putting you at serious risk. Here's a shocking fact. Heart disease is the #1 killer worldwide, taking the lives of over 18 million people every year. That's more than double the deaths caused by cancer. And the worst part? Many of these cases are preventable. The truth is, what you put on your plate has a direct impact on your heart health. But there's a lot of misinformation out there. Today, I'm cutting through the noise to reveal the 10 worst foods that are secretly destroying your heart and what you can do to protect yourself. Stick with me, because some of these might surprise you. Understanding heart disease and its true causes. Heart disease is a silent killer, but do you really know what causes it? Most people think of heart disease as just clogged arteries, but it's much more than that. Cardiovascular disease, CVD, is a broad term that includes heart attacks, strokes, and high blood pressure, all of which are connected by one thing: damage to the blood vessels. For decades, we've been told that saturated fat is the enemy, that eating butter, eggs, or red meat will clog our arteries. But newer research challenges this. The real culprits are chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and insulin resistance, all of which come from processed foods, not natural fats. So, what's driving this? Too much sugar, processed vegetable oils, and refined carbs. These trigger inflammation, damage blood vessels, and force the body into insulin resistance, a dangerous state that can lead to diabetes and heart disease. Here's the good news: heart disease is largely preventable. By simply removing the worst offenders from our diets, we can drastically reduce our risk. Today, I'll break it all down, because once you understand what's really behind heart disease, you can start making changes that could literally save your life. Let's dive in. Food number 1, sugar. If there's one food that's quietly wreaking havoc on your heart, it's sugar. It's in almost everything: soft drinks, packaged foods, cereals, sauces, even so-called healthy snacks. The problem? Sugar is more than just empty calories, it's a metabolic disaster. Unlike proteins or healthy fats that nourish your body, sugar offers zero nutritional value while fueling inflammation, weight gain, and, most importantly, insulin resistance, one of the biggest risk factors for heart disease. But here's the scary part: sugar is highly addictive. When you eat it, your brain releases dopamine, the same feel-good chemical triggered by addictive substances. This leads to cravings, blood sugar spikes, and crashes that leave you wanting more. Over time, your body requires more insulin to process sugar, eventually leading to insulin resistance, a state where your cells no longer respond properly to insulin, forcing your pancreas to work harder. This sets the stage for high blood pressure, inflammation, obesity, and eventually, heart disease. So, how can you cut back? Start by eliminating processed foods, sugary drinks, and desserts. Swap out soda for water, choose whole fruits instead of fruit juices, and focus on nutrient-dense foods like vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Reading labels is crucial. Sugar hides under names like high-fructose corn syrup, dextrose, or agave nectar. The goal isn't to eliminate sugar completely, but to drastically reduce your intake to protect your heart. Heart disease is preventable, and cutting back on sugar is one of the simplest, yet most powerful steps you can take. The more whole, natural foods you eat, the better your heart and your entire body will function. It's time to break free from sugar's grip and give your heart the care it truly deserves. Food number 2, high-fructose corn syrup and hidden sugars. If you think cutting back on sugar means just avoiding sweets, think again. One of the most dangerous forms of sugar, high-fructose corn syrup, HFCS, is hiding in hundreds of everyday foods you'd never expect. It's in sodas, flavored yogurts, granola bars, salad dressings, ketchup, barbecue sauce, and even so-called healthy options like protein bars and whole wheat bread. Food companies sneak it in because it's cheap, extends shelf life, and, most importantly, keeps you craving more. The problem with HFCS isn't just that it's sugar, it's the way your body processes it. Unlike regular glucose, which can be used by every cell for energy, fructose is metabolized almost entirely by the liver. When you consume too much, your liver gets overwhelmed, converting excess fructose into fat, leading to fatty liver disease. Over time, this triggers insulin resistance, a condition where your body stops responding to insulin properly. This is a major driver of obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and ultimately, heart disease. What makes HFCS even more dangerous is how easily it sneaks into your diet. You might think you're eating something healthy, but hidden sugars are lurking in foods labeled as low-fat or organic. A single bottle of barbecue sauce can contain more sugar than a candy bar. Even flavored yogurt can pack as much sugar as a can of soda. To protect your heart, start reading labels carefully. Look for ingredients like HFCS, corn syrup, dextrose, or anything ending in -ose. Instead of processed condiments, opt for homemade versions with natural ingredients. Cutting out high-fructose corn syrup isn't just about avoiding sugar, it's about taking control of your health and giving your heart the best chance to thrive. Food number 3, donuts and deep-fried foods. If there's one food that checks every box for heart disease risk, it's donuts. These little pastries may look harmless, but they are a perfect storm of ingredients that harm your body in multiple ways. First, they're made from refined flour, which is nothing but pure starch that rapidly converts to sugar, spiking blood sugar and insulin levels. Then, they're fried in toxic seed oils, which are highly inflammatory and loaded with omega-6 fatty acids that disrupt your body's balance. Finally, they're coated in sugar, making them one of the worst foods for insulin resistance, weight gain, and inflammation, all of which contribute to heart disease. But donuts aren't the only problem. Deep-fried foods in general, like French fries, fried chicken, and onion rings, are just as bad. They're soaked in industrial seed oils like soybean, corn, or canola oil, which are chemically processed, highly unstable, and prone to oxidation when heated. When you consume these fried foods, your body is flooded with damaged fats that stiffen arteries, raise LDL, bad cholesterol, and increase inflammation, a key driver of heart disease and stroke. What makes these foods even worse is how often the oils are reused in fast food restaurants. The longer these oils are heated and reheated, the more they become rancid and toxic, producing harmful compounds that damage blood vessels and accelerate aging. The best way to protect your heart? Cut back on deep-fried foods entirely. Instead, opt for baked, grilled, or air-fried alternatives. If you must fry something at home, use healthy fats like avocado oil, coconut oil, or ghee, which are much more stable at high temperatures. Food number 4, margarine and trans fats. For decades, margarine was marketed as the heart-healthy alternative to butter, but in reality, it's one of the worst things you can eat for your heart and overall health. Unlike real butter, which is made from cream, margarine is a highly processed product made from vegetable oils that go through an industrial hydrogenation process to turn them solid. This process creates trans fats, which are among the most dangerous fats for your cardiovascular system. So, what makes trans fats so deadly? First, they cause chronic inflammation, which damages blood vessels and triggers plaque buildup in the arteries, leading to atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Second, trans fats interfere with insulin function, contributing to insulin resistance and diabetes, which further increases your risk of heart problems. Lastly, these artificial fats raise LDL, bad cholesterol, and lower HDL, good cholesterol, a recipe for clogged arteries and increased stroke risk. The worst part? Trans fats are still hiding in many processed foods, even though they've been banned in some countries. They often go by the name partially hydrogenated oils on ingredient labels, so always check before you buy. These unhealthy fats are commonly found in margarine, vegetable shortening, processed baked goods, microwave popcorn, and fried fast foods. Even some buttery spreads labeled as heart-healthy still contain these harmful fats. To protect your heart, ditch margarine completely and opt for healthier alternatives like grass-fed butter, ghee, extra virgin olive oil, or avocado oil. These provide essential nutrients and healthy fats without the toxic effects of trans fats. If there's one change you make today, let it be eliminating trans fats from your diet. Your heart will thank you for it. Food number 5, seed oils and vegetable oils. For years, we were told that vegetable oils were a heart-healthy alternative to saturated fats. But in reality, seed oils like canola, soybean, corn, and sunflower oil are some of the most harmful fats you can consume. These oils are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which, in excess, cause chronic inflammation, a key driver of heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. The real danger lies in how these oils are made. Unlike natural fats like butter or olive oil, seed oils undergo harsh chemical processing involving high heat, degumming, bleaching, and deodorizing to make them shelf-stable. This process oxidizes the oils, creating harmful compounds that damage blood vessels and contribute to atherosclerosis, plaque buildup in arteries. And it gets even worse when these oils are reheated and reused, which happens in nearly every fast food restaurant and processed food factory. When seed oils are heated repeatedly, they become rancid and release toxic byproducts that further increase inflammation and oxidative stress in the body. This is why fried foods, like French fries, fried chicken, and chips, are particularly dangerous for your heart. The more you consume these oils, the higher your risk of developing cardiovascular disease, obesity, and metabolic disorders. So, what can you do? Avoid these common seed oils: canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, safflower, and cottonseed oil. Instead, choose heart-friendly fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, butter, ghee, and coconut oil. These health fats are stable, nourishing, and support heart health rather than harming it. Making this simple swap can dramatically lower inflammation, improve cholesterol levels, and protect your heart for the long run. It's time to rethink the oils you cook with. Your heart depends on it. Food number 6, fast food. Fast food is convenient, cheap, and addictive, but it's also one of the biggest culprits behind heart disease. Every bite is packed with harmful ingredients that work against your heart, from refined grains and fried seed oils to sugar-laden sauces and artificial additives. These meals may be tasty, but they are a recipe for inflammation, insulin resistance, and artery blockage. Let's break it down. The burger bun, made from refined white flour, which turns into sugar almost instantly in your bloodstream, spiking insulin levels and promoting weight gain. The fries, fried in highly processed seed oils that are rancid, oxidized, and inflammatory, contributing to cholesterol buildup and arterial damage. The soda or milkshake, a liquid sugar bomb filled with high-fructose corn syrup, which overloads the liver, increases belly fat, and raises the risk of insulin resistance. But it's not just the ingredients, it's what happens to them before they reach your plate. Fast food is heavily processed and chemically altered to enhance flavor, extend shelf life, and keep costs low. Preservatives, artificial flavors, and emulsifiers make these foods hyperpalatable, encouraging overeating and addiction. Many fast food items also contain trans fats, which clog arteries, raise bad cholesterol, and increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. The worst part? This food doesn't nourish your body, it only feeds disease. If you eat fast food regularly, you're flooding your system with inflammation, leading to long-term damage. Want to protect your heart? Skip the drive-thru and opt for home-cooked meals made with whole, nutrient-dense ingredients. If you must eat out, choose grilled options, ditch the fries, and skip the sugary drinks. Food number 7, processed and ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods have taken over modern diets, filling grocery store shelves and fast food menus with convenient but harmful options. These are not just ordinary processed foods like canned beans or frozen vegetables. Ultra-processed foods are chemically altered food products loaded with artificial additives, preservatives, unhealthy fats, and excessive sugar or sodium. They are designed for long shelf life, intense flavor, and addictiveness, but at the cost of your health. Some of the biggest offenders include fast food, frozen meals, packaged snacks, instant noodles, sugary cereals, processed meats, and flavored chips. While they may be quick and tasty, these foods are often stripped of nutrients and fiber, leaving behind nothing but empty calories that spike blood sugar, trigger inflammation, and overwork the body's metabolic system. So how exactly do they damage your heart? First, they lack essential vitamins, minerals, and fiber, leading to nutrient deficiencies that weaken heart function. Second, they contain artificial ingredients and preservatives that disrupt gut health, promote oxidative stress, and increase inflammation, all of which contribute to heart disease. And lastly, they often rely on trans fats, seed oils, and hidden sugars, which accelerate insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and cholesterol imbalances. The scariest part? Ultra-processed foods make up nearly 73% of the modern diet in the US, and their consumption is rising globally. With heart disease being the leading cause of death, it's no coincidence that these foods are everywhere. Want to protect your heart? Avoid packaged and processed foods whenever possible. Instead, stick to whole, natural foods like fresh vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains. Your heart thrives on real nutrition, not artificial ingredients, so choose wisely. Food number 8, alcohol. Alcohol is often seen as a way to unwind, celebrate, or even a so-called heart-healthy indulgence in the case of red wine. But the truth is, alcohol can silently damage your heart over time, especially when consumed in excess. While an occasional drink may not seem harmful, regular alcohol consumption contributes to heart disease, liver problems, and metabolic dysfunction. The biggest issue? Alcohol overloads the liver, which is responsible for breaking it down. The liver treats alcohol as a toxin, prioritizing its metabolism over everything else, including fat burning and blood sugar regulation. Over time, excessive alcohol consumption leads to fatty liver disease, which is directly linked to insulin resistance, obesity, and an increased risk of heart disease. Since alcohol is metabolized as sugar, it spikes insulin levels, encourages belly fat accumulation, and promotes inflammation, all of which strain the heart and cardiovascular system. Some forms of alcohol are worse than others. Mixed drinks, cocktails, and flavored alcoholic beverages combine alcohol with sugar, creating a double burden for the liver and spiking blood sugar levels. Beer. Made from grains and high in carbohydrates, beer raises blood sugar and insulin, leading to weight gain and metabolic issues. So, is any alcohol safe? If consumed in moderation, red wine may offer some antioxidants like resveratrol, which has been linked to heart benefits. However, This doesn't mean alcohol is good for your heart. Excessive drinking cancels out any potential benefits and increases risks of high blood pressure, irregular heartbeats, and weakened heart muscles. The best way to protect your heart is to limit alcohol intake or avoid it altogether. If you choose to drink, stick to occasional, moderate consumption, avoid sugary mixers, and prioritize hydration. Food number 9, bread and refined grains. For many, bread is a staple food, a comfort food that's part of almost every meal. But what if I told you that your morning toast or sandwich might be silently harming your heart? Bread, especially refined white bread, is made almost entirely of starch, which quickly turns into sugar in your bloodstream. This leads to insulin spikes, increased fat storage, and over time, insulin resistance, a major contributor to heart disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. Another hidden danger in bread? Gluten. Found in wheat-based products, gluten is a protein that some people digest poorly, leading to chronic inflammation, gut issues, and even autoimmune reactions. Even if you're not gluten-sensitive, modern wheat is heavily processed, making it harder for your body to handle. And what about whole wheat bread? Many people believe it's a healthier alternative, but most commercial whole wheat breads are just white flour with a little fiber added back in. They still spike blood sugar almost as much as white bread, providing little nutritional benefit while feeding inflammation. Even gluten-free bread isn't the solution. Most gluten-free varieties use rice flour, tapioca starch, or potato starch, which act just like sugar in the body, causing insulin surges and weight gain, the very things we're trying to avoid. So, what's the alternative? If you love bread, opt for healthier versions like sprouted grain bread, sourdough, which has a lower glycemic impact, or even almond and coconut flour-based bread. But the best thing you can do? Reduce bread and refined grains altogether and focus on whole, unprocessed foods that truly nourish your body. Your heart will be better off for it. Food number 10, white rice. White rice is often considered a healthy staple, but the reality is, it's nothing more than pure starch. The moment you eat it, your body breaks it down into glucose, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar and insulin levels. While this might not seem like a big deal for some, over time, frequent blood sugar spikes lead to insulin resistance, a major driver of heart disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. One of the biggest misconceptions is that brown rice is a healthier alternative to white rice. While it does contain more fiber and some nutrients, it still spikes blood sugar nearly as much as white rice. The fiber in brown rice slows down digestion slightly, but not enough to prevent insulin surges, especially if eaten in large amounts. So, who should be most cautious about rice consumption? Anyone with diabetes, prediabetes, metabolic syndrome, or excess weight. If you have high blood sugar or insulin resistance, white rice can worsen the problem, leading to higher triglycerides, increased belly fat, and an elevated risk of heart disease. Does this mean you should never eat rice? Not necessarily. But if you love rice, consider reducing your portion size, pairing it with protein and healthy fats to slow digestion, or switching to alternatives like cauliflower rice, quinoa, or wild rice. The key is moderation, because even so-called healthy carbs can become a problem if they contribute to blood sugar spikes and insulin overload. The bottom line? Rice isn't the enemy in small amounts, but relying on it daily can silently sabotage your heart health. Choose wisely, and your body will thank you in the long run. These 10 foods are some of the biggest contributors to heart disease, yet they're everywhere in the modern diet. The worst culprits? Sugar, processed oils, refined carbs, and trans fats, all of which fuel inflammation, insulin resistance, and artery damage. If you want to protect your heart, cut back on these foods and replace them with whole, nutrient-dense options. Now that you know what to avoid, small changes can make a big difference. Swap out seed oils for healthy fats, reduce sugar intake, and prioritize real, unprocessed foods. Your heart will thank you. If you found this information helpful, like, comment, and subscribe for more life-saving health tips. Let's work together toward a healthier, stronger heart.